Hi, welcome to Inkscape for Teachers. I'm Geoff Phillips, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how I create and use square root signs and fractions in my Inkscape documents. Now, at any stage, if you want to see which keystrokes or mouse clicks I'm doing, I click now, you can see this grey rectangle lists the keystrokes. Here, I'll leave that about here. Now, let's start with a square root sign. There are a couple of ways you can do it. You can just draw it using the Bezier pen tool. If I click that, and you zoom in and maybe click, something like this. Hold down Control to constrain horizontal or vertical. Press enter when you're finished, and that may be good enough for you as a square root sign. That's pretty good. If you prefer a more elegant one that you might see in maths typesetting, you can use Word. I'll click on Word now to bring it open. Just delete that because that's what I want to show you how to create. Now, Word no longer supports equation editor, but you can download an add-in for Word called MathType, and there's a free version of that. I think that it's a month trial of the full version, then after that it reverts to a simplified version like the old equation editor. Anyway, once you install MathType, you can click one of these options here. I'll just click Inline, and from the templates here I'll click here and get the square root template. Then I'll just go File, Close and Return to Document 1, and yes, I want to save the changes in Document 1, so there's my square root sign. If I click on that and Control C, copy, then return to Inkscape, Control V, and you can see there's a slightly more elegant square root sign. That's because it's actually not a stroke, it's an object or a path. I click on this and N for the node tool, you can see that there's the outline of one side that goes right round. Now, if you need to extend the square root sign, as I've just done, type N for the node tool, or this tool up here, and then drag a marquee around these two nodes here, then click on one of them and hold down Control. Actually, yeah, hold down Control, otherwise you might go off, and you can extend it as long as you like. Back to the Select tool, and of course you can also shrink it down or extend it, but it's pretty similar to the one I drew with just the Bezier pen tool. Now with fractions, actually you can see a little bit of residue left behind there as I dragged it. I'll just click on that and delete it. It obviously had a stroke in the middle of it when it was created in Word. Now to create a fraction, let's do the numerator and denominator first using the text tool, T or that icon there, and if I click, let's say we want to do a fraction of half, I can click on that. You can change the font, but I'll Control D to duplicate that, then Control drag it down, back to the Bezier pen tool, click, and then Control to go horizontal, click when you're at the end, and then enter. And Select tool. It might look a little bit thin, that Vinculum there, so under fill and stroke style you can bump that up till it looks about right. I think that's pretty good there. T for text tool, I'm going to change the denominator to a half. Now I'm going to drag a marquee around everything. Under the Align and Distribute menu I'm going to centre everything, make sure last selected is up there, centre everything and distribute the vertical spaces evenly. Then Control G to group, and I've got a fraction that I can manipulate. If you need to shrink it, you can either do it by dragging a corner, but the trouble is it won't change the the Vinculum width, so you might need to select within the group, Control click, and then back to the fill and stroke and reduce that down to whatever looks best. You could turn the Vinculum into an object. I'll show you that if I Control Z a couple of times, and let's just drag that around. Control Z. Oh, here we go. Now, if I just Control click on that, it's a stroke, but if I go under Path, Stroke to Path, now it's actually a path. I Control click on it, and N, you can see it's four corners of a path. Back to the Select tool. Now if I resize that, the Vinculum resizes widthwise as well, so that's another option. I'll just drag that around in there. Now once you have one, it's pretty fiddly, but once you have one fraction you can Control D to duplicate or Control C to copy, then Control V where you want to paste, and then T for the text tool, and you can edit the top and bottom of the fraction. Now if you do that, and you might have something like 39 50ths, something like that. Of course you can see the vinculum is no longer long enough, so I can click on that and drag that, or Control drag to the right width. I've dragged the corner there, but if I just drag the end that's okay, and now I've got my fraction. If I click on that, yes, that was, yeah, just checking that was an outline, a path, so yeah. So when I do resize that, careful, if you click on a corner you can change the width, but best to just click on this end one and it'll only change the length. Okay, that completes this quick tutorial on the square roots and fractions. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.